All right. Good morning, everybody. My name is Dufgall. I go by Minion. Um, I've I'm basically just going over creating and setting up a Discord server, and I'm here to answer any questions that may pop up. So I'm assuming everybody here has got their Discord open. You can either uh, you know follow along in your own Discord or just watch my videos. And of course, if you have a question, please post it in chat. Okay, so on the left-hand side, there's a plus button. If you hit that, you'll create a new server. And honestly, I've never really looked at what the templates are. I always create my own. You can decide if it's for a community or just you and your friends. And this has actually changed since the last time I created a server. So I'm just going to create for me and my friends. And whatever you want the name to be, I'm going to delete it later, so I'm not worried about that. You can upload a photo. So here we are. You start with a text channel and a voice channel. And to begin with, let's go ahead and create some more channels. So you've got two options. You can create a, hold on. Here we go. There we go. At the very top, where you got your server name, you can have the option to create a category. So, create category. And this is going to come in handy a little bit later. When roles and settings come into play. So once you've got your categories done, just hit the plus button. You can determine if you want to be a text or a voice and what the channel is going to be. Now, it's not going to allow you to use capital letters, and the text will not allow you to use space. However, the voice will. I'm not sure why they made that distinction. So it's all the same, however you want to do it for as many channels. So I'm going to go ahead and create a an invite. And to do that, you just drop down your server, go to invite people. It's the blue one right there. And you can either search for friends, or I'm just going to copy the link here and I'm going to put it in chat. And if one or two people want to join in, that'll help me with showing roles here in just a few moments. Okay, so now that we've got our channels pretty much set up, we're going to go in and we're going to look at our server settings. And the first one is our overview. One of the things that a lot of people will do is they'll put an inactive channel. This is generally a voice channel. So like we would also create an AFK channel, or a voice channel labeled AFK. And we would select that. And if somebody is in a voice chat without producing any sounds for anywhere from a minute to an hour, after that selected time, they will automatically be shunted to the AFK channel. That is just to keep keep a list of who's actually active, and especially helps when having conversations. So the system messages channel can also be a landing page type thing. And you can, of course, put any of your text channels there. And, it'll send a random message when somebody joins the server, which we may see here in a minute. Add stickers, talks about boosts, or I guess for the admins, it'll be helpful tips. Now you can also set it to who will get pinged when there's, or pinged or given a notification when there's a message. If it's, just you and your friends, all messages would be fine. If you're expecting to have, dozens to hundreds of people, you might want to set it to only when they mention that person or a role that they have, or also the everyone tag. I've not had much luck. Excuse me. Sorry, I've had not had much need for the boost progress bar. That's mainly for the larger servers that are looking for monetization, or have a lot of custom stuff like custom sounds, custom icons, and various. And then you can have a server background that, of course, comes with the boosting, or a server invite background. I'm not going to worry about saving any of those, but here we come into the roles, and in default, there's only the everyone role, and you can adjust things very granularly, so that you can have literally one person with specific abilities, or entire groups of people. And so viewing channel, if it's going to be a private channel, such as an admin only channel, you would set that to private. Managing channels, that's going to let members create, edit, or delete channels. That's usually relegated to admins only. Same with managing roles. So one of the things about the managing roles ability is you can rank your roles, and anybody who is of a specific role can only grant roles that are below their specific level. You can allow members to do custom emojis, stickers, or sounds, create them, manage expressions, what are allowed to be used. This one is a new one for me, viewing the audit log. That'll help to keep track of who's made what changes, in case you have somebody that tries to, for example, put all of their buddies into a role that's higher than you want the specific groups to have. You'll know who done it, and then you can go back and adjust or remove those changes. Webhooks is mainly a bot thing, if I'm not mistaken. So that you can have, for example, Facebook, if you had a matching Facebook group with your Discord, if you posted something on the Facebook, it could post it in Discord as well. Of course, managing the server, that is an admin specific thing that will allow people to change anything in the overview, as well as roles, stickers. Creating invites Of course, lets you create like the invite I sent there, so that you can have people that, if you have a role that is somebody that's been there for 3 weeks and you don't want anybody newer than that to create an invite, you can turn it off on those roles and put it up on the roles you want. Changing nicknames. This can be an everybody thing or a specific user. Depends on just how ornery people get about their nicknames and how offensive it does get. Managing nicknames is the other way around. Lets a person manage nicknames of other people. It's mainly an admin thing for, as previously mentioned, like offensive nicknames, kicking and banning members. Again, an admin role that is relatively self-explanatory. You can allow somebody to put members in timeout. For example, if somebody's just spamming like one word at a time or just a lot of random links, you can put them in a timeout for X amount of time, and they won't be able to do anything other than read what channels they're allowed to be in. Your text channel permissions will allow you to have somebody send messages. So if you have an announcement channel, you can have everybody view it, but have nobody be able to send messages except for an admin. And that way you don't have a bunch of people replying to your announcements other than just like little emoji responses attached to the message. Sending messages in threads, it's relatively new within the past year or two, I think. So you can have somebody reply to a specific chat, and instead of being, or a specific message, and instead of it being posted further down the chat list, it'll be posted in a sub thread that you click on the original post and you can go on, and that helps with conversations. Yes, Lucy. Every Discord, a person can have a different name in each Discord. I think you're limited to only one picture per account, but you can change your nickname between each server. Creating a public thread would allow you to have a sub conversation based off of one message, without it getting lost in the scroll of an active chat. Creating private threads is essentially the same thing, with only specific members being. Okay, I don't use Nitro, was not aware of that. Thank you, Rizaya. The private threads would allow you to only have specific people invited into that discussion. Embedded links. If you post a link to wikipedia.com, it'll put that link and embed a graphic type thing underneath it. So if you get a lot of links and want to not have all that massive scroll, you can disable embedded links. Attached files. I think that can be anything from pictures to text documents. I think even exe files. So that's something you would want to make sure that only people you trust have that. Reactions, that's just the little emojis when somebody reacts to one of your chats, a heart, a thumbs up, whatever. An external emoji is the custom emojis from a different server. So you can allow people to use external emojis from whatever servers they're on in your server. Of course, that does run the risk of something being inappropriate. Same with stickers. So also mentioning everyone here and all roles. Everyone is going to send an alert to everybody in the server. The here tag is basically going to be everybody that's in the specific channel you're mentioning in. And all roles would be like the admin role or the moderator role, any specific roles that you create, which we'll do here in a minute. Managing messages would be a moderator or admin thing, allows you to delete or pin messages from other users. Same with managing threads. Reading the message history. If you want somebody to come into an empty room but not have to constantly delete the chat, you would turn this off. They can see a history of whatever they've been when they're in there. But if they lose access, and come back again, they won't see any of the messages. I've not used text-to-speech messages, but it's helpful with the visually impaired. It'll allow somebody to send a type of message out, and it'll speak it to the other users. Application commands, if you have bots or if there's a / command in Discord, anybody with this ability can use those commands. So if you have like an administrator bot, you might want to turn this off. I don't use a whole lot of bots. I don't administrate many large Discords. I've never had to bother with this one. Send voice messages is relatively new. Basically, like when you on Facebook, when you hit the record button, speak a message, and then send it to your other person, you're leaving them a voicemail. The admin has to determine if a role is allowed to use that that feature. But if a user is in a role that allows it, they can set it themselves. So in the voice channel permissions, connect is the equivalent of being able to see the chat channel. And of course, being able to speak is the equivalent of being able to send a message to a text channel. So if you, like right now, if you were having a class in Discord, you could have the person in the teacher role have the speak command, and everybody else would not have it. So they'd be able to listen to who's doing the leading, the teaching, and they would have to text their questions like y'all are doing in the chat. Videos, the chat channels. Yes, you can share a screen in Discord. I will I'll go over that here in a little bit. At least I'll try. Video allows you to share videos. I believe, and that goes for screen share or streaming a game. So again, if you have people that are causing problems, turning this off would be a way to silence them to a degree, especially if they're using video-based offenses. Recently, Discord has gotten activities such as games that it'll allow the users to use within a server. You can turn that ability on or off. They've also inserted a soundboard with, I think, 4 or 5 different sounds. I think it's a chat channel special. So it's not going to happen in a text channel. But like if you're playing games and you want that whack, whack, whack sound, you can set that up on your soundboard. And when somebody answers the wrong question, you can hit them with the whammy sound. The external sounds operates the same as stickers and emojis from other servers. Using voice activity, if you want to limit but not disable the voice activity. For example, you've got a lot of friends that are in a high activity household, but they don't like running with their own push to talk. You can make it so that they have to use push to talk, especially if there's like a meeting or something going on. Priority speakers, if for example, the admin, if Ms. Yukiko needed to make an announcement, but I was talking, what this would do is she would speak and it would not mute me, but I think make my voice softer so that she would be heard over it. Thank you, Isadora. Yes, you can change the soundboard volume just like you can change each individual person's volume to make it where it's not too soft or too loud. Mute and deafen, that's the equivalent of making it so somebody cannot speak or type. And deafen is, they can't hear what you're talking about, but they can speak. Moving members, it's mainly an admin type thing where, hey, I need to grab this person and take them into a private chat. So, I can move into a chat and drag them from wherever they are with me and have my discussion. Voice channels just recently got the ability to have statuses. You can allow members to set the statuses on that. You can allow members to create events, manage events, and you can determine if this person's going to be a moderator. And we'll go through that here in just a few minutes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come back here and we're going to create a role. And this is just going to be role 1. I'm going to make it that color. You can upload an image if you like. And this is what it'll look like on a black or white background. So if we want to make a red, this is what the red will look like. That way you don't have to make the role, go out, see what it looks like, go back in, and we can display the roles separately from online members. Yes, you can customize privileges for a single user. In the events of like an event steward, you would use a role for that. So we're going to display the roles, this role separate from online members. And we're going to let anyone mention this role. And then you can also view the server as that role. Right now, nobody has that role. Let me see if I can. Okay, since I'm looking at it from that role, I don't have the ability to change anybody's roles. Oh, hold on. New role, it hasn't been saved yet. I learned something. So it looks like it may have been saved. So I'm going to go into this one. And where was it? Permissions. Here we go, up top. All the permissions that I went through previously, we're going to go through. So you can, if you come down to the bottom, you can make them an administrator, and that's going to override all of these roles. But for now, I'm going to allow these people to view channels. We're going to let you change your nicknames. We're going to let you send messages, send in threads, create public threads, private threads, links, files, reactions, use emojis. Basically anything short of managing is something that most are given. Connect, speak, video. Okay, we're going to save those changes. And so okay. Why is it? Roles? There we go. Okay.
Minion, did you see the question from Lucy? I kind of zoned out for a second.
Does admin have to set text to voice? Is that the one you're talking about?
Can you customize privileges for a single user, event steward, and then reset after the event?
Yes, I had mentioned that that would be more of a role you would want to set up so that you could add them or remove them as needed and change the person for those events. Save changes. There we go. Okay, so now Cademan has the new role. And you just right click, scroll down to role, and you'll have a list of your roles, and it changes immediately. Now, this is where things get a little more granular. Yes, that's correct, Rosiah. So the reason I suggest making a category before your channels is that I can come in here and I can edit this channel. Or hold on. Sorry. Where is it? There we go. You right click and then edit your category. And you go to permissions and you can have it set so that, so the X means that, for example, everyone is going, you can either have them not be able to view the channel. You can have it set to whatever their original setting is, or you can have it overridden for the positive. So if we go to the roles and members and we add the new role, and since this is the category of type 1, we're going to remove the ability for them to see type 1. And then when we come out here, for example, Cademan and Erica should not be able to see the type 1 category. They should only be able to see type 2. Can y'all confirm that?
Yeah, I can only see type 2.
Okay. And then when we remove them from the new role, then they have the ability to see type 1.
Like magic.
Whee! So this can be like, let's say you have people that only play Warcraft, only play Star Wars Galaxies. You can have them in those roles and only be able to see the channels associated with that roles. And that would help keep down server scroll. So, you know, if you're on a server and you don't want to hear about the all the chats that are going on in the Warcraft, then, you know, as your role, you don't have to have that. Wrong one. There we go. So again, the and then all of your settings, you can now override this these other roles. For example, everybody is part of the everyone role, and everybody can see or text in both chats. If I give new role the ability of everyone, they're going to be able to see it. Excuse me. So I can also take away their ability to send the messages, but only if they have that role, because it's overriding any of the roles that are beneath it. Do I need to continue on in here?
I don't see any questions in the chat at this time.
Okay. And this is what I was talking about in a as a landing page. Anytime somebody hops into the server, the message that says that they came in, any of the little stickers that are popped up, they're only going to show up in general. They're not going to show up in any of the other chat channels. So now if we go in over here to channel 1 and we look at the permissions, for the new role, everything is supposed to be synced to the permissions of the type 1 category. So I didn't have to come in and set it so that type 1 or role 1 could not send messages. That's automatically done. And anytime you create a new role and set those roles' abilities within that category, it sets it for every channel in that category. So now if we back out, who's testing? So if we come back in, and now we're going to create a new channel. We're going to call this channel 3. Create channel. So now if we look at our permissions, the ability to send messages is automatic in this one. Well, that's not something we want. So if we come up here and where was it? It's been a while, sorry. Hold on, was I even on the right one? New role. Nope, there it is. So sometimes the permissions can get desynced. So you've accidentally, let a role manage the channel. Well, you can't remember what happened, and now you're having problems with that channel, and you got 20 different roles. All you got to do is go to the channel permissions and click sync now, and it resets everything to just how the category was set up. Let me see here. And mainly I end up setting up the servers for friends and then hand it off to them. So any emojis that they want to do, they would do themselves. And this is you can have up to 50 emojis on the server. And you've got the requirements, 128 by 128, 256K at the most. The names must be at least 2 characters long. And then you can, of course, allow others to add and use the server's emojis. Same goes with stickers, although that's a thing with boosts. The soundboard, we haven't put any sounds in. Various widgets. And then you can get into your moderation. So you can change what restrictions for people to send messages in text channels. So if you want somebody who's been in the server for longer than 10 minutes, before they can send messages, you could select that. If you want them to have a phone number, a verified phone number on their Discord account, so that they're not just some spammy, you can set it all the way to high. For just your friends, for the most part, either none or low is good for the most part. Requiring 2-factor authentication for your moderators. In order to turn that on, you yourself have to authenticate with your multi-factor. I'm not going to go into that. You can filter for explicit images, either all messages, unrolled, which basically means anybody whose only role is everybody would have that go through, or do not filter at all. And the activity alerts, you would set up a channel and you could turn it on. And basically what this is if, yes, a user can undo their own posts. I'll go to that next. But like, say 20 bots somehow find your server and they start posting every 10 seconds. Well, that's not going to be normal for your server. So it'll send you an alert that that things have been going outside of what's normal. So for a normal user, you would, sorry, that's in my way. You would just hover over and you can add reactions, and that's for everybody. You can reply, or you can create a thread. The more action, since I'm an administrator, I'm pretty sure I have more options than y'all. Like I can delete the message, everybody could report it. You could create a link to or copy a link to the message. Mark it as if you've not unread it, copy the text, create a thread, things that are normally there. Okay. Somebody put a reaction and it changed my options, so it changed the view there. So if you go to more on your own, you should be able to delete your message. Feel free to paste a message and look through the options, experiment, have fun. There's nobody that's there's nothing that you're going to mess up. So do whatever you like. Don't worry. Earlier I was speaking about creating threads. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to reply. And now this is what everybody's going to see when they come to it. In order to read the thread, they would just have to click and it'll pop up over to the side. Yes, any message that you consider important, announcements, game references if you're doing games, all those would be pinned. So I'll go ahead and pin this one. And it's going to alert you that you've pinned it. And if you go up to the very top, each channel will have its own pinned messages board. So you have the option here to show or hide your member list on the side, your notification settings, and this is by channel. You can either tell it to not send you alerts, alert on all messages, any mentions, or absolutely nothing. And then you've got a list of your threads. Any questions? We only got about 5 more minutes. So is anything specific somebody would like to know about?